Good evening and welcome to Brunel University London's Clearing webinar. During the next hour, there will be a presentation from Hamza Hamid and Gemma Sear, who will be talking about life at Brunel. At the end of the presentation, there will be an opportunity to ask questions. To do this, you should type your question into the panel box in front of you and click submit. You may need to open up your question bar at the right-hand side of your screen. It would be useful if you could write your name so that we can read it out when we read the question. I now have pleasure of introducing you to Hamza and Gemma.
Hi guys, my name is Hamza. I'm currently a student at Brunel University studying business and computing. At the moment I'm on my placement year at PepsiCo, working as a functional analyst. I've been there for about 5 weeks now, enjoying it so far. My PowerPoint is just going to be like a brief overview of some of the things that you might find interesting if you were here at Brunel. So my first slide, if it comes up, there you go. So lab work. So this will depend a lot on what course you're doing in terms of how much lab work you actually do. Maybe if you're on more of a science-based course, then you'll probably be doing a lot more. Doing business computing, it was a good mixture between lectures and lab work, which is kind of one of the reasons why I chose my course, because lab work is a good way to interact with other students, because there's a lot of group activities that go on. You can also build and develop professional relationships with your tutors and lecturers at labs, and it's generally a fun and light-hearted way to learn. You tend to feel a lot more connected to your peers in a lab than maybe a lecture where you're sitting maybe a bit more silently in a lab. Yeah, I mean, it's been something that I've really enjoyed, and I hope you guys will as well. So the next slide is about social life. So I lived at home whilst being at uni, because I live in Slough, which is about 15-20 minutes drive. So there wasn't really a reason for me to live here. But I still have had a really good time. There's loads of things that you can check out in Uxbridge, which is about 5 minutes away. Slough is also not too far, like I said. There's loads of restaurants around of all different varieties. Having a car makes you a lot more mobile as well, so that would be useful if you could, or if one of your friends could get one. Campus life generally is really good because everything is all in one place. You've got the quad, you've got all your local shops, bank, etc. Everything's all in one place, and to be honest, if you didn't want to, you don't have a reason to leave the campus for your whole year if that's what you want to choose. Placement. So I'm on my placement year now at PepsiCo, working as a functional analyst. I also worked part-time throughout university in various roles, but an office environment is a lot more different, I found, and working full-time is just generally a lot more than maybe you expect, in a good way. But I've been there for about 5 weeks, really enjoying it. It's a lot more different to university. It's a lot more scheduled, and it's a really good way to network with professional individuals and build contacts. And I would really recommend anyone, if they have the chance to do a placement year, and I think Brunel will be heavily pushing you towards doing it because of the benefits. You won't be making tea. It's not something like that. It's something where you're actually working on real life projects to actually help the business that you're in. And they can offer you a job afterwards as well, which is always good because it takes away a lot of the stress in maybe your final year. And it's also nice to be paid throughout the year as well, and it just generally builds your CV up. So on my next slide, it's about lectures. So lectures are very useful in that you get a lot of information that isn't on PowerPoint slides given in the lecture by the lecturer. It's really good practice to make notes. Some people have different methods of doing this, whether it be recording audio, video, on the laptop, writing by hand, etc. Whatever suits you best, really. And however, it can be difficult for some people to attend a 9 a.m. lecture maybe, but once you get into a routine, it's all right. You get through it, and you get a lot more structure into your life. Yeah, those are my slides that I've prepared for this webinar. Generally, Brunel, I would say, is a really good choice for everyone because of its collective feel. Everything you need is on campus, and everyone is really friendly. So it really makes you feel at home, no matter where you're coming from. I mean, we have so many international students from all over the world, and you see them always having a good time. I'm really pleased generally with my choice of university and course. I've enjoyed it a lot so far in my first 2 years being at Brunel, and after my placement year, I'm looking forward to coming back as well for my final year. That's me. I hope you've enjoyed my presentation.
So hi guys, my name is Gemma, and I'm going to, like Hamza, talk a little bit about my time at Brunel. I've just graduated actually with a degree in psychology with professional development, and like Hamza, I did a placement course. However, mine was a thin sandwich, which means that I did 2 6 months over years 2 and 3, so I didn't do a whole year, and I got to have 2 different experiences and spread out that time. So one of the main things that you think about when you're applying to uni, and it's quite a big thing at the moment, is the academic aspect. So the course you're looking at that has the best content, maybe a famous lecturer or one that has really good job prospects. But another really important aspect is your social life, and at Brunel we have over 150 clubs and societies, so there really is something to suit everyone. As you can probably see on the screen, over my 4 years I took part in things like ultimate frisbee, cheerleading, dance and musical theatre, and was involved in the psychology society as well. Joining these clubs in Freshers Week meant that I was constantly meeting people and making friends, and some of the people I met in my first week are now my best friends, and I live with them. Clubs and societies also give you the opportunity to grow as a person, to develop new interests and to carry on your old ones, and you can also develop more as a person to become more involved in the running of your club, so taking on roles such as chairperson, treasurer, charity officer, which, as well as looking really great on your CV, is just a lot of fun over the year, and it's really nice to put all the effort in and see how much it comes to the end of the year. Another really important factor in your university life is work-life balance. Each course has a different amount of hours, so personally mine had not very many hours at all, so I spent a lot of time doing extra reading and extra work, but it also gave me time to fully immerse myself in the university experience. So I took part in things like working with the union, and I had a part-time job, and I joined the clubs and societies I spoke about earlier. And like Hamza says, being on a Walk Anywhere campus means that you have everything at your fingertips. You don't have to go anywhere or do anything extra. You can have all of your experiences, whether it's volunteering or a part-time job or going to the gym right here on campus, and you can live there as well. Obviously, this probably seems really daunting, and taking all this on is a massive task, so it's really good to know that there's loads of support around to help you at any moment. On enrolment, you have an academic tutor assigned to you who will help you with any queries you have throughout your course and can help you with anything from not knowing where a lecture hall is to having mitigating circumstances if you can't finish an essay on time. As well as this, there are course-specific librarians who can help you locate sources, write essays and lab reports, and support you in your studies, and they're absolutely fantastic in supporting you with absolutely anything. You can go to them with anything from a first-year assignment to a dissertation, and they'll really help you with your academics. The Student Union is also a source of great support, and the Meeting House is the perfect place to go if you need to talk to someone or have a bit of peace and quiet, whether you're religious or not, and they have a rabbit cafe on a Friday, which is a great stress relief. The Medical Centre and Counselling Service are also on site, which is really handy if you feel under the weather every now and then, or you need to talk to someone on a regular basis. And we also have an on-site pharmacy, so you don't have to go anywhere to get anything you need. Living on campus is a really great experience. We have such a vibrant community here at Brunel, and there's always something going on. I was on campus living in halls for my first and final year, and I met some lifelong friends and had a really great time. Like Hamza says, sometimes it can be hard to get up for a 9 a.m. lecture, but when you live 30 seconds from the lecture hall, it just makes it that much easier. The experience of living in a student house is definitely one of a kind that gives you a great sense of independence and responsibility, even though it can be a bit of a shock having to pay bills and do your own cleaning. Whether you always want to be in the library or always in the bar, or whether you want a healthy mix of both, it's definitely something for you here at Brunel.
Thank you for such an interesting presentation, both Hamza and Gemma. Now we're going to open up to you guys, and if you have any questions, please do open up the question box and write your questions in there, and both Gemma and Hamza will be very happy to answer them. Right, so we have our first question here from Iman, who's asked a question for both of you guys. How easy was it to find your placement, and how did you find it going from your placement back to studies?
Well, I can only answer the first part of the question about how I found the placement. I haven't gone back just yet. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a lot to do with being organised and prepared. Personally, I started applying for my placements in October, which was a lot earlier than most other people, purely because I just wanted to get it over with, because I knew that come sort of February, March, there's a lot more coursework deadlines and you get closer to exams. So I wanted to get it secured as soon as possible if that was possible, and I luckily did. I think I was the second person on my course to get a placement, which was pretty nice, and I got it confirmed in December. So I got it confirmed a lot earlier than a lot of other people. That's not to say that you won't get a placement if you don't do it early. All my friends have a placement, so that's just me personally giving my experience with it. But whatever you do, just I guess it is important to be organised and plan ahead.
That's definitely some good advice. I found both my placements through the Placement and Careers Centre at Brunel, and I had a meeting with our psychology officer who laid out all of the options that I had and went over my CV and my previous experience and suggested a couple of ones that I might enjoy. And they really help you make your CV and your cover letter the best it can be, so that when you send out these applications to all of these companies and centres, then you're in with a really good shot, and they can give you interview techniques and everything like that to really give you the best shot. Coming back to uni from placement was a different experience. Like I say, I did two, and my first one was 9 to 5, which was fine, and my second one was shift work, so I was getting up at 4 a.m. or coming back home at 11 o'clock at night, so that was a bit more difficult to get back into the uni lifestyle. But I carried on with all of my clubs and societies and jobs while I was on placement, so that was a really nice way of keeping involved in the university life. So that made coming back into it a little bit more easy.
Thank you for that. We've had another question from Rapunzel, who's asked, what is Freshers Fair like, and how many clubs and societies on average can you get involved in, or is there a limit?
Oh, Freshers Fair is amazing. All of our clubs and societies, which is over 150, as well as our student union and charities and our media people, have a stall, and there's people dressed up in their kit and all sorts of stuff trying to get you to join their societies, and there's thousands of people in there and you're trying to talk to everyone. There's no limit on the amount, well, apart from the time limit of how much time you have in a week, of how many you can join, but you can sign up to as many as you want. Some of them are free, some of them you pay for, and some of them have taster sessions for the first few weeks, so you can join 30 and go to all of the taster sessions, and if you only like 2 of them, then you only stick with those 2, but Freshers Fair is amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I think my experience was just that it's really crazy, to be honest. As soon as you walk into the sports centre, the indoor sports centre, it's so manic and there's so many people everywhere. The queues are massive in terms of the volume of people everywhere. And everyone's just really just trying to persuade you to join their society, which is really nice because it makes you feel a lot more welcome, especially because it is your first week. Something that you haven't ever done before. Yeah, really good. I would advise everyone to join as many societies as possible.
Yeah. And there's so much different stuff, so you can walk in there and think, I definitely want to be part of the chess club and I want to play rugby, and you could come out having joined like tennis and ultimate frisbee and the tea drinking society. There's just so much stuff that you never would have thought had existed, but you can definitely find people with a common interest even if you didn't know that you had that interest before.
Well, they've even got like a bungee jump society, haven't they?
They do, it's terrifying.
We've had another question from Sharon Jitt, who's asked, what one piece of advice would you both give to someone who is coming to Brunel?
Ooh, that's a good one. Join a club or society that you didn't know existed. Pick something at Freshers' Fair that you didn't know, you don't know if you might like it or not, or you didn't know it even was a thing, and join it and just go to one session because you might love it.
Yeah, I think the overall advice I'd give for anyone coming to uni is just try and get out of your comfort zone. You might have to do that for certain things, maybe in the first week, just try different things that you've never done before. Yeah, just do that.
Thank you. We've had another question from Kyriakos. I hope I'm saying your name right. What was your favourite thing about studying at Brunel?
Ooh, my favourite thing was definitely my placements. I think Brunel was one of the first universities to actually offer placements, but it just is so much better than sitting in a lecture hall for 3 years with someone telling you all this information. You actually get to learn and experience all the stuff you're being told in action, and the variety of different possibilities that we have here. Being so close to central London means that you can go and work in investment banking places and clinics in central London, or you can go further out because of our transport links. So it really, that's probably one of the best things that I found.
I really enjoyed the facilities in the library. So it being a 24-hour library with I think it's 4 floors, it's so much space, and every level has a different kind of quiet setting, as to say. The higher up you get, the more silent you have to be. So that kind of space is available for anyone to get on with whatever work they're doing. And it also has the placement career center in there as well. So any kind of advice you want on your CV, or if you're looking for a specific job or placement, then you've got some really good staff there that are really keen to help you with anything.
Thank you. Can I just, this is just a reminder for all attendees, if you do have a question, please do write it in the question box, and Hamza and Gemma will answer it for you. Ayman's come back with another question, which is, what should you bring when you're living out? So one for you, Gemma.
Oh, when you're living out, towels. That is the one thing that everybody forgets. But a doorstop as well for halls and for living out, just to keep the door open, keeps it friendly, you get to meet people that way. And some home comforts. Sometimes you go through the list and you end up with all your stationery and all your clothes and everything, and you don't have anything that you really want, and it makes you feel like you're at home, makes you feel a bit more comfortable. So definitely like a blanket or some pillows or anything that makes you feel like you're at home.
Thank you. One question that we did have in one of the other webinars, I'm not sure if attendees in this webinar are interested, but they did ask whether you get provided with a duvet or not, whether you have to bring your own duvet.
Yeah, so in halls, you do get provided with a duvet and a pillow and all the bedding to go with it, and you can have that changed every week with the residences team, but you obviously can bring your own stuff as well. But the rooms in halls are completely fitted out with a bed, a desk, shelves, and all of that kind of stuff as well as the bedding.
Thank you. Kyriakos has come back again with another question. Hamza, you mentioned the library is open 24/7. How did you use it?
I think everyone uses it in a different way. Some people only use a library closer to exam period, maybe. Some people never use the library, and other people are in the library all day. I think I just generally had a mixture of some of them, in that I really just use the library to get away from distractions, maybe. Obviously the different levels that it has different sort of quiet settings, as to say. The ground floor, no one's really quiet in that floor. So if you want to work, then maybe that isn't the best floor for you. But if you want to do group work, maybe then it is a good floor for you, because you can interact with other people there and talk about work, etc. So for me personally, I used, I think maybe the first 2 or 3 floors. The one right at the top is really quiet. I think it's a bit awkward there, but it depends on each person, I guess. But that's me.
Thank you. Georgina has come with a question about accommodation. She's asked whether there is Wi-Fi in the accommodation.
There is. There's Wi-Fi all over campus and in accommodation as well, so you don't have to chop and change between the lecture hall Wi-Fi and the accommodation Wi-Fi. You just connect as soon as you come, and that's it for all of your devices and everything.
Thank you. Are there any more questions that you would like Hamza or Gemma to answer? Please do write it in the question box and we'll get these answered for you. Just a reminder that the clearing telephone line opens tomorrow morning at 7:30. The number is 01895 272 273 if you are looking to find a course through clearing. Are there any more questions? We aren't having any more questions come through, but is there any piece of final advice, Gemma, yourself and Hamza would give to students who are listening into the webinar?
I think just be yourself no matter what stage you are at on your application, especially for students applying through clearing tomorrow. Just show your passion and be yourself and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. One of the questions that I see on the student room quite a lot is why should I come to Brunel over any other university? And I think when you come to Brunel and see the campus and see the community that we have, one thing that we all have in common is that we're really proud of the university we go to, and there is, like I say, a great diverse community that we have here, but we all have one thing in common, it's that we love Brunel, we have a big statue that everyone loves to take photos with, and we all know what we've done to get here, and we're really proud to have come here, and we're all really proud when we graduate. So if you feel like that sounds like a great place for you, then Brunel is somewhere that's definitely worth considering.
Thank you for your piece of advice, and I know what you mean about the statue because it often comes alive. We have no more questions, so that is the end of our clearing webinar. I hope you found it interesting and informative. That is the end of our webinar, but a recorded version will be available on the Brunel University London website. Goodbye, thank you for attending, and good luck with the results. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.